G'day everyone and welcome back to the Big Swing No Ding podcast, sending those bales back to New South Wales. Since 2019, we have just witnessed the best test knock ever. And you know who it came from? Kyle Mayers, man. I cannot believe that. That is, without a doubt, the most unexpected, most ridiculous, like out of the blue test knock I've ever seen. Like with my own eyes, at least. I mean, Dizzy Gillespie's up there, 200. That's pretty unexpected. But what? Kyle Mayers had 2 first-class hundreds before this. A batting average of 28. Hasn't played first class in 2 years? Comes in for a West Indies B side, basically, in hopeless spinning conditions to chase the 5th highest test run chase in history. And he just goes and makes 200, what did he even make? 210 not out of 310 balls, which is made all the more spectacular when you consider that his first 100 were nearly off, like 260? Okay, maybe that was an exaggeration. No, it wasn't 260. But it was something unbelievable. He was striking at, 38 for the majority of his innings with Nakuma Mabona, and he's just gone out. He added 100. When Bono went out, I think he was 117 not out, and he's just gone and finished up on 210 not out with the rest of, who he's batting with. Jermaine Blackwood made 9, De Silva made 20, and of course, Roach made the duck at the end, by which time the game was over. He put on a 100-run partnership with Joshua De Silva, who is no slouch of a batsman, and he made 80 of them. Just like that. I have never seen such clean hitting and such domination as I have just seen from Kyle Mayers in just absolute hopeless conditions. I cannot describe that. Just quickly, I want to pay some respect to Nakuma Mabona, who had a great innings in his own right with, I think, 84? 86 off 245 balls. So that speaks in itself. They were half, I wouldn't even say half going for the win. They were probably 70% batting for the draw. Bono striking at 35.1. Mayers was probably at a touch under 40, maybe a little over 40 for the majority of his innings until the last 100 balls maybe. And then he's just gone, and he finished with a strike rate of 67.74. It's how many sixes did he hit? He hit 7 sixes, and I'm pretty sure they were all after he'd passed 100. The way he just was able to latch onto that bowling with incredible, the bowling was, I'm really sure, this is Bangladesh, which some people will talk down upon, but Mehdi Hassan has just taken 5 in the first innings. This pitch is turning a lot. This is a proper day 5 Bangladesh Asian pitch for the argument, yeah? It is, seriously turning. Which we can reflect from, Raheem Colmore opened the bowling yesterday. I mean, what evidence what evidence can you possibly have to not say that this is the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen? I hope that the cricket world realizes the magnitude of this. Because, I thought that Kusara Pereira's knock in 2018 it was, I thought that would never be beaten, right? I thought that would be the best knock I would see in my lifetime. Then a few months later, Ben Stokes comes along, and, you can argue whichever one you want is better, right? They're pretty much interchangeable. I would probably lean towards Pereira, but, you can go either way. And then I thought, okay, I might be lucky if I see one of those before I turn 50, right? 2 years later, Kyle Mayers on debut in a West Indian B-side with pretty much, the only proper players in this team, right, that it would make the general best 11. Craig Brathwaite, John Campbell, Jermaine Blackwood is there, and Roach and Gabriel. Those are the only 4. And, Raheem sometimes does, but kind of. Actually, he'd probably play normally in Bangladesh just because of the spinning conditions. But on that note, I think that Warrican probably bowled better and has probably proved himself to be the second choice spinner from this point on. But that's a different topic. He's just come in and just dominated this game. at the start of this day, right, I sort of said, okay, yeah, how good is this? We've got 3 test matches going on at the moment. 2 of them are interesting in terms of the test champion. Well, one of them is really interesting in terms of the test championship. One of them is well poised. And then the other one is, is pretty unlikely, but it's still interesting enough because, I was interested to see what Joshua Da Silva did. I thought, this is a good opportunity to see what he can do at test level and show his worth and maybe get a maiden 100. Nope, he didn't even get to bat until the 3rd session today, and he was he was 1 wicket away, 2 wickets away from being in. He was behind Jermaine, who only made 9, by the way. Like, the deliveries that got out to Silva and Jermaine, like, those are a testament to how much this pitch was turning. And you really got to show respect to Nakamura Bona, who, like, he absolutely batted out of his skin for the 84 that he put on. How much? I think the partnership was worth, it was worth 216. It's just unfathomable how those two have just stolen this game around from Bangladesh. And then once Bonner went, and you're like, okay, so let's see what Jermaine can do. He went straight away. I thought, okay, the West Indies, like, although, Da Silva can bat, he's never been in this sort of situation. He's still really inexperienced. He hasn't got a lot of showing at the test level, and he can spin right. Rakeem Kumar can still give it a hit. Kemar Roach can hold a bat at least. But they're not gonna go anywhere. It's all gonna fall apart here because you can see how much this is turning. But Kyle Mayers said, "Nah, not on my watch." This has to be the best test knock of all time. I cannot think off the top of my head another knock that is even come close to this. Like, I think this is indisputable. I think this is the undisputed best test knock of all time, and it has come from Kyle Mayers of all people. If you had to tell me that at the beginning of this year or halfway through last year, that Kyle Mayers would have probably the best test knock of all time, and he'd make 2 and be on his debut, his test match debut. Like, for one to even suggest that Kyle Mayers would play a test match would be outlandish. And here he is making 210 not out in a 395 run chase on the 5th day to absolutely steal this game from nowhere. I have absolutely no interest in the betting market, and yet I could only imagine, like, I would be very interested to see what the odds were at the start of this morning, because I could only imagine West Indies would have been like, I don't know, 18-1. I've never seen anything like it. If you have any idea, or maybe you're a little older than me and you've seen something like truly, like, unbelievably spectacular, more spectacular than this, give it a comment down below or hit me up, because I would love to know. I can't imagine a better innings if I tried. I mean, sure, like, you can say Bonner made 86, which is, sort of showing that it was still battable, and the attack was maybe not as good as it could have been, which is, it has a little merit. But like I say, Bonner in his own right batted superbly for his 86. He had to absolutely grind for the 245 deliveries he faced. And sure, like, the Fizz didn't have a good day. His economy was 5.46 in the end. But that is, again, more a testament to how well Kyle Mayers was going after them. And just, like, he was just cleaning him, striking him so cleanly. I've never seen anything like it. Islam bowled, he bowled well. I think he didn't give much away. They really had to work for their runs against Tajul Islam. Mahedi Hassan, man, I feel bad for him. I feel really bad for him. He gave this match absolutely everything he could. He made his first test match 100 in the first innings. I think he was batting at 8, and he made just over 100 to really, like, put Bangladesh in a great position and really tire them down. Then he follows it up with 4 for 58 in the in West Indies' first innings. I think, how many of them were in the top order? Like, plenty, right? Oh, okay. I mean, he got the wicket of Kyle Mayers in the first innings, and then he's gone and taken another 4 wickets in this last session. Naeem Hassan wasn't a great match by his standards, or by his potential perhaps. And I think the loss of Shakib being injured probably did hinder them a bit. But again, these guys bowled. How many overs did they bowl between them? Almost 115.3 overs the spinners bowled between them, and then plus Fizz, who they had to try something. Like the Fizz has got a good knack for just getting wickets. He's a great bowler, and then like Tajul Islam was so stiff to only get 2 for 91 today. He deserved 3 or 4 at least. Mahedi Hassan played so well, and it was to no avail. Kyle Mayers has just stripped the game away from not just Bangladesh, not just Asia, not just the entire subcontinent, but the world. No one in their right mind could have said, yeah, I think West Indies will win this game. Like, at the start of the day, a draw would have been like a crazy pull-off. What they were? They were three wickets down with Bonner and Myers at the crease, right? They had 7 wickets in hand. They only lost 4 wickets throughout today, which again is mainly due to, is due to the Nakurma and Mayers partnership, and then Mayers just absolutely hogging the strike, which he had to do. And for the rest of it, it would have been a famous draw if they pulled it off. And for the most part, like, especially when Nakurma Bonner went out, you're thinking, okay, they're probably going to go for the draw here. It's like 80% chance that they go for the draw. And it's probably, I still would have said that they would probably have got to the draw after that point. Like maybe a 60% chance that they get through to the draw. 35% chance that they lose, and a 5% chance that they win. That was when Bonner went out, which was after tea. After tea. What they scored? I think they scored 138 in this last session. I'll have to look at the stats, but it definitely felt like it was. I'm sure it was well over 100, and that is just something you do not see. I think Mayers was. Yeah, I think he was again 117 at tea, and he's gone and made 210. I'm pretty much repeating myself at this point, but it really is just indescribable. You just have to say, indescribable. Here it is. Here is what I'm going to describe it as. You can only describe it as the best innings, like at the very least of the century, right? Like the modern era of the century. That's as far back as I truly know. I can't imagine a better innings than this, man. I cannot imagine. He scored what? He scored over 50%. He scored comfortably over 50% of the team's runs. And almost 100 in the last session in hopeless spinning conditions with his team backs to the wall all day with a bunch of guys who didn't think they were going to be playing a test at all for their careers. I can't believe it. If comment your thoughts, I guess. Tell me where this ranks for you. Do not even try and say that that Headingley or Durban is ahead of this. It's not even close. It's not close. I can't describe it. Like the shots that he was just hitting over, it was almost cow corner in the end, wasn't it? And the way it was going over long on. It was so clean, man, and he was just so able to play off the back foot. He played the spin so well, and it was spinning an absolute mile. The good thing for West Indies is they finally found a middle order bat. He's 28 years old at this point. How is Jason Holding? He's not that old. So, future captain. I don't know. He was literally a bowler a few years ago, was Mayers, and he was just. I can't believe that. It is beyond imagination. He is absolutely soared from the crowds. Lastly, to finish off, Ian Bishop. He's got to be the best commentator in world cricket, man. He sums up every situation so perfectly, and especially when it's the West Indies, man. He's just on it. He just absolutely knows it. He's got the perfect words, the perfect voice for the occasion. And he just made this situation, this incredible innings of 210 not out, all the more worthwhile. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. Play it through.